afternoon. Welcome to Cbc TV Midday News. The headlines. Government releases 13 billion kwacha for social support, salaries and debt payments. Zamtel app to improve cash transfer for over 1.3 million Zambians. Mlungushi University hold candlelight memorial service to honor slain student. With the news in detail, my name is Pauline Ngozo. The Pretoria High Court has reserved judgment in the appeal filed by the family of former late President Edgar Lungu, challenging the court's earlier ruling that granted the Zambian government permission to repatriate his body for a state funeral. The Lungu family is contesting the decision, arguing that there was no valid agreement binding them to return the body to Zambia for burial. They claim that the court's ruling overrides Lungu's alleged personal wishes for a private burial in South Africa. The family's argument centers on respecting Lungu's right to dignity and privacy, asserting that the government's interest in a state funeral does not supersede their wishes. In contrast, the Zambian government insists that as a former head of state, Lungu should be accorded a state funeral and buried at Embassy Park in Lusaka following national protocol. This stance is rooted in the country's tradition of honoring its leaders with state funerals, which is seen as a mark of respect and a way to uphold national dignity. The case has sparked intense debate, with analysts suggesting that it underscores a broader issue of political polarization in Zambia. The court's decision to reserve judgment means that Lungu's body will remain in South Africa until the appeal is heard and determined. The outcome would determine whether Lungu will be buried in Zambia with full state honor or South Africa according to his family's wishes. The Lungu family's appeal argues that the court erred in its interpretation of an earlier agreement regarding the funeral arrangements. They contend that the court overstepped its powers by ordering repatriation when their initial application only sought a declaration of rights, not the enforcement of any agreement. The family also questions the jurisdiction of the South African court in matters concerning Zambia's internal affairs. The case has drawn significant attention both locally and internationally, and it touches on issues of national dignity, personal rights, and protocols surrounding state funerals. The court's judgment will have implications for now. I'll read that again. The court's judgment will have implications for how former heads of state are honored and buried in Zambia, and potentially set a precedent for future cases.
Christ Life is more than a school. It's a nurturing community. Our qualified teachers use innovative methods that keep the minds and hearts of our students engaged. Our cafeteria isn't just a place to eat. It's a hub of nourishment and community. Our sports activities are always filled with fun and creativity that promote teamwork and confidence in every child. With access to the latest educational software, learners are prepared for the digital age with confidence and creativity, empowering students with skills in and out of the classroom. Swimming is a life skill that is cardinal for survival. Our ballet programs teaches more than just dance. It installs grace, discipline, and expression. The heart of knowledge builds in our school library with a wide collection of fiction, non-fiction, reference material, and digital resources. Our school offers exciting and safe playground facilities for both ECE and primary students. Safety is our top priority, and our drivers are carefully selected for their professionalism and commitment to the well-being of our students. At Christ Life School, we believe education is not just about passing exams, it's about preparation. So, if you are looking for a school that feels like home, where your child will be known, loved, and challenged to reach their highest potential, then Christ Life School is the place. In a world filled with noise, CBC is a voice of hope, truth, and transformation. We are a dynamic, purpose-driven broadcaster bringing you content that uplifts, inspires, and changes lives every single day. From youth to professionals, to families and undeserved communities, our programming speaks to every heart, every home. And for brands with visions, we are the platform that puts your message where it matters the most. We are more than just a channel. We are a movement of faith, of purpose, of impact. Partner with Cbc TV and let your brand stand for something greater. Purpose, integrity, lasting impact. Cbc TV, inspiring transformation every day. In a world filled with
show where faith meets leadership.
And all I knew is that the moment I stepped out of formal employment and have 24 hours at my fingertips, there is no way I would fail in business.
In each episode, we sit down with Christian CEOs who are shaping Zambia with vision, integrity, and purpose.
So that drive, you just have to keep pushing and pushing hard.
A man whose journey is as inspiring in the boardroom as it is in his walk with Christ.
I had to leave my family in Lusaka and told them to say, we'll start this business from Solwezi. We never closed during COVID. We had more business and we were working even sometimes shifts, 2 shifts, day and night shift. God always provides, and there is no hard work that has no results for labor.
Kakura no bwali fwe mzaka kupezani odo muona mwanga machinja mazo mairo mzabwe ngalilile mocheni chenu shama e.
Okay, we want to know the other side of your life, before your ministry, before your background and everything. Ready for that?
If the court looks at paragraph 99 to 101 of 111, rather, of the MTN judgment. The word lex causa simply refers to the cause of action, nothing else. What determines which law applies is lex loci. And so it then takes over the entire dispute. And it's obvious why that is so. If you followed my learned friend, you would end up with conflicting outcomes, because you will always split out lex causa from lex loci. That's just illogical. So once you've decided the lex loci, then everything that falls under that is then to be decided in accordance with the law of the lex loci. So if my learned friend concedes that the lex loci is South African law, then the dispute is to be decided according to South African law. Zambian law becomes irrelevant.
Prayer. It is ordered that the applicant is entitled to repatriate the body of the late president for a state funeral and a burial thereafter. And then 5 mirrors that. The 8th respondent is authorized and ordered upon service of the court order by the sheriff to immediately surrender the body of the late president to a representative for repatriation for the purposes in 4.
A candlelight memorial service to honor late Gideon Bwalia, a 4th-year microbiology student. The ceremony began with a solemn procession from the School of Natural Sciences, where hundreds of students marched in quiet reverence, each holding a candlelight, each holding a lit candle. This powerful symbol of respect and solidarity set the tone for a heartfelt tribute to Gideon's life. The memorial service featured prayers, tributes, and reflections on Gideon's life. The Deputy Vice-Chancellor, Professor Patricia Katoa Mkwato, urged the community to remain united and supportive during this challenging period. The University Union President, Obusuma Mlenga, delivered a moving address on behalf of the students' body, highlighting the collective sorrow felt throughout the campus. Friends and classmates shared touching tributes, painting a portrait of Gideon as a diligent and promising individual. The ceremony concluded with a moment of silence and a collective prayer, lifting up Gideon's family and seeking strength and solace for all students affected by this profound loss.
In a display of unity and remembrance, Mulungushi University community gathered for a candlelight memorial service honoring the late Gideon Bwalia, a dedicated 4th-year microbiology student whose recent disappearance ended in tragedy. Among those present was the Deputy Vice-Chancellor, Professor Patricia Katoa Mkwato, who stood alongside students in their grief, urging the community to remain united and supportive during this challenging period.
On behalf of Mulungushi University, we wish to express our sadness at the loss of our 4th-year student, Gideon Bwalia. Gideon was almost completing his university education. As such, as the university, we are saddened. Even the family is so saddened. But for me, I have a word of encouragement to the students. We understand that the university life is so stressful, and they go through a lot of stress. The academics are so stressful. They also have financial stressors. They, as growing, transitioning from childhood also to adulthood, they experience a lot of stress. But I'd like to encourage all students that whenever they have any problem like that, they are free to approach any fellow student, but above all, we have counselors that are trained to handle different situations. Beyond the counselors, we are here as university administrators also to support, because when students are going through training, the parents have actually entrusted them to us. As such, we are available to counsel them and to help them so that we don't see such incidences like we have seen now. That's my word of counsel for the students. Thank you.
Friends, classmates, and representatives from the School of Natural Sciences gathered touching tributes, painting a portrait of Gideon as a diligent and promising individual whose unexpected passing has left an irreplaceable void in the hearts of many within the university.
Government has released 13 billion kwacha to fund national priorities, showing its commitment to a credible and consistent budget. According to the Ministry of Finance, over 600 million kwacha went to the social cash transfer program, while 119 million was spent on the food security pack for vulnerable households. Another 100 million was channeled to Constituency Development Fund (CDF), and the same amount to support pensions for retirees. The Treasury also allocated 1.5 billion kwacha to key programs such as geological mapping and voter registration, and 740 million for infrastructure in roads, health, water, and education. The largest allocations included 4.8 billion kwacha for the public service wage bill and 4.9 billion kwacha to dismantle arrears and meet debt obligations. Finance Minister Dr. Stombeko Msokotwane says these releases prove that the budget is a living tool for development, bringing direct benefit to citizens while building investor confidence.
With or without a tower, we are going to receive social cash transfer. And that is the reason we have accompanied you today. And today we say, with or without a tower, every recipient will receive social cash transfer. I thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, this illustrates government's commitment to improving the well-being of the most vulnerable in our societies and villages. Now, to ensure transparency in the delivery of the social cash transfer program, my government has also, for the first time in the history of the program, digitalized the payment system.
Cabinet ministers were in Chisamba ahead of the launch of a new Zamtel digital payment system for social cash transfers. Ministers Doreen Mwamba and Felix Mtati met with Chiefs Chamka and Liteta to discuss the initiative. The social cash transfer program now supports over 1.3 million Zambians, up to from 4,600 in 2021. The new Zamtel app will allow beneficiaries to receive funds directly on their mobile phones or bank wallets, improving efficiency, transparency, and accessibility. Mporokoso district has already achieved 100% digital payments, showing the app can work well across the country.
With or without a tower, we are going to receive social cash transfer. And that is the reason we have accompanied you today. And today we say, with or without a tower, every recipient will receive social cash transfer. I thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, this illustrates government's commitment to improving the well-being of the most vulnerable in our societies and villages. Now, to ensure transparency in the delivery of the social cash transfer program, my government has also, for the first time in the history of the program, digitalized the payment system.
The Constituency Development Fund, CDF, has had a significant impact on the health sector in Lusaka province. Over 20 new health posts have been built, while existing ones have been expanded and improved. In a statement made available by Lusaka Provincial Administration Principal Public Relations Officer Logic Lukwanda, the works have also included the construction of staff houses, maternity annexes, mortuaries, and water reticulation systems. This is in line with President Hakainde Hichilema's directive to have running water at all health facilities and electricity connectivity to enhance healthcare provision. In Kafue District, CDF has constructed health posts with water reticulation systems at Chipongwe and Chilambila. Chongwe has built Lukoshi Clinic, Kwamwena Health Post, and completed a maternity wing at Chikumbi. Chilanga has constructed a maternity wing, staff houses, and health posts at various locations. Rufunsa has built health posts, staff houses, and maternity annexes, while Luangwa has completed maternity wings, constructed health posts, and rehabilitated clinics. Lusaka district has supplied and installed solar systems at various clinics. The CDF has also facilitated the recruitment of health workers and improved essential drugs availability at around 85% across the province. These milestones demonstrate the importance of the government. These milestones demonstrate the importance the government has placed on improved health care. The increased funding for CDF from 1.6 million in 2021 to 36.1 million in 2025 per constituency has enabled the implementation of various health projects, transforming the health care landscape in Lusaka province.
Thank you and good morning. We are here to give an update on the CDF impacts on the health sector in Lusaka province in the past 4 years. So the expanded Constituency Development Fund, CDF, has impacted positively in the health sector with over 20 new health posts built in Lusaka province, while existing ones have been expanded and improved. So the works have also included the building of staff houses for medical personnel, building of maternity annexes, mortuaries, incinerators, water reticulation system as per presidential directive, to have all health facilities installed with running water as well as electricity connectivity. This follows the continuous increase of the fund from 1.6 million in 2021 to the current 36.1 million in 2025 per constituency. This is indeed evidence that CDF has been placed as a flagship for development under the New Dawn administration. What is also important to note is that these facilities have been complemented by the continuous recruitment of health workers and improved essential drugs availability to around 85% across the province. When you talk about the province, this includes our 6 districts, which are Kafue, Chongwe, Chilanga, Lusaka, Luangwa, and Rufunsa. Thank you.
After a tough 2-0 loss to Morocco in their World Cup qualifier, Football Association of Zambia Vice President Keith Mwimba paid a visit to the Chipolopolo team to offer words of comfort and encouragement. According to sources, Mwimba's visit aimed to boost the team's morale and remind them of their capabilities. Coach Avram Grant expressed optimism about the team's progress. The 2-0 loss leaves Morocco top of Group E and Zambia third, making their next clash against Tanzania in Dar es Salaam a must-win.
There are always 3 results in a football match. You win, you lose, you can get a draw. Okay? Always there are 3 results in a football match. Then now, I want to emphasize that you need to go and rest. And just go and rest. I know it's painful, but I want to tell you one important thing. Every setback is a success. Okay, guys? Yes. Every setback is a what? Success. Every setback is a success. You can make beauty. If you have not failed, then it will be difficult. So every setback is a success. Let's not look too down. It's football. It happens. Sometimes in football you also need luck. Morocco is not a team. This is a team that reached the semi-finals of the last World Cup. They have invested well in football. That's a fact. They have invested well in football. But we are equal to the task. We have got a very good team here, right combination of the age. So let's not look too down. As I've said, every setback is a success. Another point, no finger pointing. Let's not point fingers at each other. Don't blame each other. Don't say, oh, this one should have done this. No. We win as a team. We draw as a team. We lose as a team. Okay, guys? We love you. I think we remain united. That's the most important thing. Remain united at all material times. Let's work together as a team. We are looking at a bigger picture. I think the bigger picture, we have, of course, would have loved to go through the playoffs in the World Cup. It has become mathematically even more difficult now, although we had the chance because we are still going to play Tanzania, who is our direct competitor. Because you can only qualify for playoffs if you get the second slot. But we still have 2 games remaining. I think let's still finish on the high, and let's bear in mind that we have got the AFCON coming up in December. So no finger pointing, we are one family here, and I want to give you one assurance. I'm a football person, there are many football people, we are going to work as a team. You should have no doubt whatsoever in your minds, results will come. Those of you who have got diaries, you can record this day in your diaries. Results will come. I know what I'm talking about. We are here, and let's just work together as a team. Let's remain united. Let's keep on working hard. Let's maintain the discipline. Let's keep the shape. We are here, as I promised you, to take care of your needs. I think at least I've got a POP here, and I've confirmed with a few players. I'm glad that you have actually received the payment. We have started liquidating or paying what you have been owed. I guarantee once again, we'll carry on. You don't have to wait. I told you, remember, that before the AFCON, we want to clear everything that you are owed. But remember my words all the time. The most important thing from the word go, let's play for the badge, to play for, for patriotism, for the nation, for the millions of Zambians. This is your team. Be proud of it. Wear the national colors. Be proud of that. Right now, it's water under the bridge. No matter how much you grieve, this result cannot be reversed. Okay, guys? So cheer up. Let's maintain the discipline. Every setback is a success, and results will come. Hard luck, guys. Hard luck, hard luck, hard luck.
And in international news, we monitored the BBC.
Let's take you to Kathmandu now. At least 13 people have been killed and dozens injured in the Nepali capital during a protest against the government's decision to block dozens of social media platforms. Police fired tear gas and rubber bullets to disperse protesters calling themselves Gen Z. A curfew has been declared in parts of the city. The government last week ordering the blocking of social media. Now that includes Facebook, YouTube and X, for not complying with a deadline to register with the Ministry of Communication. With me is our South Asia editor, Ambarasan Etharajan. It's turned violent on the streets of Kathmandu. What's been happening?
There were some extraordinary scenes in the streets of Kathmandu this morning when thousands of young people calling themselves as Gen Z, they held a march towards the Parliament building against the government's decision to ban various social media accounts last week because the government wants them to be registered, and they accuse the companies of not meeting the deadline for registration. They want a local contact, like a grievance officer, liaison officer, to be set up inside Kathmandu so that they can handle hate speech, fake news and online fraud. However, millions of people, more than 50% of Nepal's 30 million population, they use various social media platforms to communicate with their friends, family, for news and business. So they are angry that the government has suddenly blocked this vital means of communication because more than 80% of the country's internet traffic is coming through social media. So it's a huge loss for the internet service providers as well.
And Ambarasan, does the anger go deeper than that? Because when you look at some of the placards that they're holding, it's end to corruption. Enough is enough. Are there other things brewing there that people are upset about too?
I spoke to some people in Kathmandu this morning. There seems to be a wider anti-government sentiment at the moment, because it is not only about the social media ban. There was also bubbling anger against what they call as nepotism, corruption and mismanagement, and the political instability. And then this has given a platform for them to express their anger and the views. But people are worried about what is going to happen in the next few days, because some are accusing the government of using excessive force. We are talking about, so many people killed, and the hospital authorities have told BBC Nepali service that some of the injured people are in a critical condition, so the numbers are going to go up. And is it going to trigger wider anger? Because what we saw, small protests like what happened in Bangladesh and in Sri Lanka, where it turned into a massive uprising overthrowing the government. But the government says it regrets the deaths, what happened, and they're going to have another meeting later today to find out ways to diffuse the situation.
And the government is also saying this is not an attempt by them to actually ban social media. They just want to bring these companies in line with Nepali law.
That's what they are arguing, and they are also pointing out to what happened in neighboring India or Pakistan, where the governments, again, the social media companies say India tops the list of countries asking posts on social media to be taken down, whereas the critics would say this is the way how the governments are trying to control free speech on social media, because that's the only platform nowadays for ordinary people to express their anger or views on anything happening inside the country.
Really interesting. And Barasan, thank you so much.
That note brings us to the end of our midday news. But before we go, a recap of the headlines. Government releases 13 billion kwacha for social support, salaries and debt payments. Zamtel app to improve cash transfers for over 1.3 million Zambians. Lungush University holds candlelight memorial service to honor slain student. Thank you for watching, and enjoy watching the rest of our programming. Good day.